All right, so just in case the link isn't on the board, for rectangles, rhombi, and squares, to fill out that portion of your flipbook, go to bit.ly/rectangles _ rhombi _ squares. All lowercase, no spaces. Okay, so you're going to go to this link and then fill out rectangles, rhombi, and squares. Okay, once you've done that, we're then going to have you watch a short 4-minute video that is a good introduction to trapezoids. So go to bit.ly/intro trapezoids. Again, intro trapezoids. Great for talking about trapezoid and also isosceles trapezoid. Okay, so watch that video. All right, now, hopefully you've watched that video. And for a trapezoid is a four-sided shape, where the opposite sides, only one pair of opposite sides, are parallel. Four-sided shape where the opposite sides, only one pair, are parallel. So let's make some sense of this. So if I look at this, let me first there we go. All right, so I look at this, exactly one pair of parallel sides, okay? The only sides parallel are the two bases. So if you had watched the video, a trapezoid, we have base 1, base 2, and then every trapezoid has 2 legs. It's just a matter of what type of trapezoid we talk about. Now the median, where this line is the center. The middle of this figure is the median. Median, middle. It's where you take the average of the bases. Average of the bases. That's simply where you add the bases, take half, average. All right. Now I also want to make one more mention of something. I'm going to number these. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4. Okay? I do want to also make note that consecutive angles also add up to 180 here. Because if I have a set of parallel lines cut by a transversal, angle 1 plus angle 2 is going to add up to 180 because they're supplementary. Angle 3 plus angle 4 is also going to add up to 180 because they're parallel cut by the transversal. Okay, so remember that, supplementary. Okay, I wrote off to the side right here, supplementary. All right, so that's the basics of trapezoids. You have 2 bases, 2 legs, only one side of which are parallel. Now, watching that short-minute video, that gentleman, I feel, did a really good job talking about isosceles trapezoids. Okay, so first off, they say, okay, exactly one pair of parallel sides again. So you'll see what's similar and what's different between these two trapezoids. So these are the only 2 sides that are parallel. Okay, again, the median is still taking the average of the bases. So you would still take half of base 1 plus base 2. You would add your bases, still take half. Okay, the legs are congruent. So here, these legs are congruent, well, by definition of isosceles. Isosceles, we have 2 eyes. So just like isosceles triangle, an isosceles trapezoid has 2 sides congruent. All right? it says that the diagonals, therefore the diagonals are also congruent. Okay, so that means that this diagonal is the same length as this diagonal. These two are the same length, same. So I could put, as long as you understand it's the whole line, you could say, okay, this whole line is congruent to this whole line, the whole thing, whole thing. And lastly, base angles are congruent, Because in the video, the gentleman said, okay, well, if you have two sides that are congruent, like isosceles, well, just like the isosceles theorem for triangles applies to trapezoids. Opposite the base angles, opposite the base angles or the bottom angles are congruent. Okay? So just like a little note here, if you had an isosceles triangle, opposite the bottom, opposite sides, those angles are congruent to each other. And you could just put that in parentheses if you wanted to draw that. Okay, let's look at some examples. So, it says find the value of x. Okay, well, I see that they are parallel, cut by a transversal, and they're on the same side. So same side is consecutive interior. And we had talked about that up above in our pink marker that I had written in. Okay, so these are same side interior, or so therefore they're supplementary. So I'm going to write it down here. I have one side, one angle is 12x plus 2, plus the other, whoops, it's a 13, plus the other angle, that's 12x plus 3. They should add up to equal 180 because consecutive angles are supplementary. If I combine like terms, I will get 25x. I'm going to move that up here. I will get 25x plus 5, 2 and 3 equals 180. I now have a two-step equation. Subtract, divide by 25. X equals 7. That's it. All right, example 2. Sorry, it's cut off. All right, AB is 7y plus 6. So I'm going to look for AB and write 7y plus 6. And EF is 5y minus 3. And DC is y minus 2. Find the value of y. Ooh, this is a good one. So if we look at this one, if we recall, this is the median, or the middle. That's the middle, median. And it said up above, median is half the bases add together. So I'm going to write that so we remember half the bases added together. So if I look at this, I need half the bases to add together. So I'm going to take, and remember, this is the median. The median is 5y minus 3, the middle, equals 1/2. And then we're going to add our bases together. So I'm going to have 7y plus 6 is one base, plus the other base is y minus 2. All right, so again, the median, middle, equals half the bases added together. Well, I see I can simplify, so I'm going to bring down 5y minus 3 equals 1/2. Well, I see I can do 7y plus y is 8y. 6 minus 2 is 4. And then what I can do is, well, I can take half of 8y. Half of 8y is 4y. Apologies, bring down 5y minus 3 we didn't use. Half of 8y is 4y, half of 4 is 2. We're distributing. Now, when you shuffle things around, I would subtract 4y over and add 3 to the other side, and I would get that y equals 5. Okay? Number 3, done, which I'm sure you're done with this, but moving forward, done is an isosceles trapezoid. And this says that angle EDO is 110 degrees. DEN, right here, this whole angle, something different, so there's 2 lines, is 15x minus 5. Find the value of x. Well, recalling back, if you look up here, consecutive interior angles are supplementary. They add to 180. So I'm going to go back. These are same side interior because we have 1 pair of parallel lines. So I can say, okay, my angle 15x minus 5 plus the other angle of 110 should add up to equal 180. Combine like terms, I get 15x plus 105 equals 180. 2-step equation. In the end, you will get x equals 5. So it's all going based on our prior knowledge of what we've learned and what we need to recall about these different shapes. Now the last one, trap, is an isosceles trapezoid. If PR, so this whole entire side, PR, is 3x minus 7, and then it says TA is 20. Make sure I have that right. Yes, I do, because I was starting to wonder. Now, it said earlier that the diagonals are congruent. Diagonals are congruent, which means they're equal. Well, if I look at this picture, they gave me the entire diagonals. Diagonals are congruent. So I have 3x minus 7 equals 20. Add 7. Divide by 3. You get x equals 9. All right, so you should have, at this point, filled out quadrilateral introduction. We talked about parallelograms. Then you went to the video, this bit.ly link, to where you filled out rectangles, rhombus, and squares. And we have now gone over trapezoids. So your homework is on the board. Make sure you use your time wisely. This homework will be due next class. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend, and I hope to see you all next class. When I see you, please make sure you do this work, or else it's going to be kind of a struggle when we start doing proofs. All right.